Alrighty, hello there. Welcome back to part 2 of the Dokkan Battle Beginner's Guide. Now, part 1 was a massive success, and honestly, I did not plan on making this a second installment, but I figured that there were some steps that we needed to take in order for you to make that next step in terms of your Dokkan progression, right? So, we're going to be going over various things in this video, what you need to do after you finish everything that is in part 1. So if there are parts of this video that are confusing to you and you have not seen the first installment of this beginner's guide, I would highly recommend that you go to the channel and watch the first one, and I'll also leave a link in the description as well as a pinned comment with the first part of this series. So in the first video, we essentially went over how to do your first free-to-play teams, all of the basic mechanics of the game, and went over a sample gameplay run of how the actual gameplay itself works. So in today's video, we are going to be taking the next steps from everything that we built off of in the first video, including the units that you need to start farming up, things you need to do when you're done with the tutorials and stuff like that, and everything in between. So if you do find yourself enjoying today's guide, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new so you don't miss out on any more informative Dokkan content like this. So the first thing that we need to do after we've done the tutorial, we farmed up our free-to-play Ginyu, we've done version Z Goku, all of that fun stuff, everything that we've talked about in part 1. First thing I want you guys to do is go finish your quest mode. So with quest mode, I'm sure most of you guys know how this works at this point. There are 33 total areas, and this is going to be a bit of a grind, but once you get it all done, you are going to be rewarded with over 700 free-to-play stones, and with those 700 free-to-play stones, you are free to summon or save for whatever you are looking for. Now, why do we want to finish quest? That's a good question. A, the stones that you're going to be getting, but B, we are going to be segueing that into the next thing we need to do in order to rank up. And that is going to be ranking up our level, our total level up here. You can see it is 999 for me. What we want to do is try and aim and go as high as possible. Now, when it comes to rankings that actually matter, what you want to do is get to just to level 500, because when you hit level 500, you're going to be getting rewarded with over 250 stones throughout the whole grind, so keep that in mind. I believe the total number is 257. With those 257 stones, I'll combine that with all the quest stones, and we're looking at a little over, 1,001, I believe, is the math on that. So if you want 1,000 free-to-play stones, I suggest that you finish this quest mode, and then you go and do stage 33, or area 33, stage 1. And what I'm going to be showing you in this specific instance here is we are going to be using the free-to-play Ginyu team that I told you guys to farm up, just to show you that this team will take care of it no problem. Why do I say that we should do this quest? It's because it drops about 36,000 character rank XP, depending on the bonus that it could be. It could be ×2 bonus, it could be ×3, or it could be ×4. So if it's ×4, we're going to be getting over 140,000 XP per run, and that is going to be very beneficial for your account in order to kind of rank up as fast as possible. Now, ranking up, like I said, is important because of 3 things. A, you get stones, B, you get character space, and C, you also get stamina refills, right? So your stamina is also going to be going up. So you could see, when we get out of this run, I'll show you, and then you can see we'll also be farming incredible gems at the same time. More on that later. What we'll want to do is, I'll show the stamina bar in a second, sorry. We're going to be looking at that stamina bar, and why you might be asking what's so important about the stamina bar, right? Especially because if you're leveling up, and you guys will see this, you see how it says 388 right there? Whatever stamina we have left when we rank up, so if we go from like 997 to 998, right? Let's just say we had 170 stamina, right? And then we ranked up to 998. We'd be getting an additional 388 stamina on top of the 170 that I already had. So we'd be up to, what, 558 stamina just from doing that. So getting these constant refills and leveling up all the time is going to mean you're going to have plenty of stamina in order to do this, and you're not going to have to use stones to refill your stamina at all. So that is kind of the drawback to getting to the max rank, but rank 99 is a cool flex. So that's what I want you guys to do when you start. The first thing I want you to do is finish quest, and then the second thing I want you to do is play Area 33 Stage 1 repetitively until you are at a rank that you are comfortable with. The highest I recommend is 500, and then what you can do is go from there. I would stop after you reach rank 500, but you don't have to go to 500 in one sitting, so just keep that in mind. So with all that being said, let's move on to part 2. Alright, now we're over here in the events tab. So what I want you guys to do, and this is going to look a little bit different on JP than it is the global, but like I always say in these videos, the buttons are going to line up. So what you want to do is go into your event tab. So I'll just show you where to go, where the Saiyan pods are. We're going to go to the event, and then we are going to go over to the second tab, which is going to be the growth tab. Now, what I want you guys to do is clear out as many of these as you can, right? It's going to look a little bit different on global because these 2 events are specifically over in the story tab, but everything else here should be relatively similar, right? You have a hidden potential orb stage that you can do once to twice per day, depending on your power level. It should be once, especially if you're a beginner. You have the Turtle School daily training. This is one of the most important events in the game. I want you guys to make sure that you are doing this every day because it's good for link levels, it's good for Zenny, it's good for training items, it's good for character XP if you need it, and it's going to be very beneficial. The Goten and Trunks event you're able to do once a week, and you're going to get to be what are known as link skill orbs. And what you can do with these link skill orbs, I'll show you an example, is we'll find any, let's just find any random character that I don't have link leveled, right? I'm going to assume I don't have you link leveled, right? We go over here and we look at his link levels. What we do is we press this button right here, and then where it says level up, this is going to be link skill level up. We press this and we can use these certain items right here to manually link level the character as high up as we could go. So in theory, I could do something like this and just use as many of these as I can in order to get the links as high as I could go. Now, I'd only recommend doing this on characters that you care about, like summonable characters and stuff like that, like your big boy characters in the box that you know you're going to be using all the time. Don't just use this on any character just for the sake of doing it, but that is what you're going to be getting from this event once per week. So that is why that is important. And then what we want to also do is, like I said, you want to do all of these in this little play session. And then you're going to do a hidden potential event right here. You can see that today on JP, this is the tech orbs. These are going to be hidden potential orbs for our tech characters, because not every character in the game is going to have a unique type of orbs like the Ginyu Force and the Team Bardock do. These are going to be the universal orbs for tech characters. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And then Pan's Secret Adventure is going to be available once a week. You want to do this as well because this is going to be a higher link level rate, and you're also going to be getting a lot of rank XP, right? When it comes to ranking up, this is going to be an additional bonus, right? Like we're talking hundreds of thousands of XP just from this specific event every single or once a week, right? And then if your power level is high enough, you can do it twice. This is not going to pertain to you for if you're a global player, but in the future it will, so I'll at least briefly break it down. If you have not farmed up the free-to-play Team Bardock or the free-to-play Ginyu Force, but in this case I'm assuming you already have, this is going to be the revamp of the event to make it a little bit more streamlined, but if you've already done the grind, congratulations, good job. It doesn't really matter for this point. So then what we're going to be looking at is the Whis event. What this is going to be once a week for now until it is revamped over on global, but you're just going to be doing these for skill orbs that you can equip to characters, similar to what I just showed you with that Gotenks. We're going to be getting a certain amount of orbs every day, or not every day, once a week, and then we can use these specific skill orbs to equip the characters. So if we just find any random character, I'm trying to find one that's SA10, but I don't think I have one in this case. Okay, let's go to Dispo, right? So if we go to Dispo and then we press back right there, we're going to be getting certain items like this that we can equip that are going to help us with our hidden potential, right? So if we wanted to add extra additional, maybe we get an additional from the Whis event. And you're going to want to make sure you're doing this once a week because these additional skill orbs are going to be very helpful moving forward because you know that you will be using them. So that is important. I want to make sure that you prioritize that as well. The Whis event is very important, but you can only do it once a week, so don't overthink it, right? Just make sure that you at least do it once a week. So that is what we're going to be looking at with the Whis event. And then right here, if you want support items, you can do this for Bulma. You're going to be getting a stone for the initial clear on every difficulty, by the way. That is one thing I need to mention. But that is what we can also prioritize. If you need Zenny, I have a Zenny farming guide up as well, but you can do the Big Bucks Hercule challenge, and you get 3 stones for that. And then we also can come down here for training items from the Korin event, Awakening medals from this one right here, and then we have the Epic Showdown, I believe it's called, with Goku. These were part of the version Z mission, so you should have at least a head start on this. Maybe you want to go back in and finish up this character, but I don't believe you have to. So keep that in mind. The growth tab is the next thing I want you to focus on, and make sure that you clear out all of your runs for the week. Let's move on to the next section of the video. Okay, so this is going to look different depending on the time of year that you are watching this video, but right now when I am recording this is currently the little April Fool's thing that they are doing for Dokkan. So a lot of the events that we have up right now are focused on the April Fool's characters, right? So you can see a lot of these characters are very old, but what I want you guys to do is go into your story event tab and start clearing out these events as well as the characters that come with them. So just an example, we are going to have this Super Saiyan Goku right here. What I want you to do is press the information tab and then check and see what each stage drops. So you can see here, we have this version of Goku and then the Dokkan Awakening medals that drop from it. So what I want you to do is very similar to what we did with the free-to-play Ginyu Force and the free-to-play Team Bardock, is farm up all the copies you need to max out this character. So in this case, it's going to be 14. So 1 for the initial copy, 9 for the super attack, and then 4 more for the dupe paths, which is obviously going to add up to 14. And then once you have that 14, rainbow the character, Dokkan Awaken them, and then we can kind of move on. And I want you to start doing this and clearing out all of these story events because this is going to help you build your box and have some more free-to-play options. And It is going to look a little bit different depending on the time of the year. Like I said, it could be April Fool's, it could be Golden Week, it could be Anniversary, and it's just whatever the theme is going to pertain to whatever these are going to look like. So just keep that in mind as you are going through this, that it could look different depending on what time of year it is. So that's what I want you to do. Start going through these story events, looking at the characters that are in here, and then maxing them out as far as you can go, so that way you have a lot of representation of different categories, different characters in your box, and you'll be ready to go if you do need them, because you never know when like a free-to-play Android 17 or free-to-play like base Goku could be viable, and that is why I think this is very important. And you can see these are a ton of free-to-play events in this game with characters that you can farm. So really, this could take you a very long time, but it is definitely worth the grind, I would say. So keep that in mind as you are going through this. One thing I also did not mention is these are going to have boost categories, and I'm sure if you guys watch the beginning guide or the first part, boost categories are very helpful because they're just going to make the grind a bit quicker. So like you can see here, this is what it's going to look like. Reps of Universe 7 is the boost category right here, and then you want to use as many LRs as possible, but I take it you probably don't have very many at this point, so do just keep that in mind. But it's not the end of the world, but that is something you do at least have to account for. So making sure that you can do all that is important, and that is what I want you to do. So just to recap this part, I want you to go to the story event tab and start farming up all the free-to-play characters that you can muster in one grind session or multiple grind sessions, just depending on what you want to do. So, like I said, story event, farm up the characters, and then we can move on to the next part. All right, so now that we've done that, we are going to be moving over to a similar style of grind, but what this is going to be is not depending on the time of the year, and this is the kind of Dragon Ball story events. So you can see here we've got like the history of Dragon Ball. We don't have Super yet, but we have movies, GT, Z, and Dragon Ball. And what I want you guys to do is go through these events as well. It's going to be very, very similar to what we saw with the story event tab, where it's like you go in, you press the information button, and you can see what type of free-to-play characters that you have in here. So this is important to keep in mind to do, because you guys will be needing these as you move forward. Because like I said, just making the box, like having as many different options for free-to-play characters, I think is really important, because you never know, like I said earlier, when you're going to need some of these characters for Extreme Z areas and stuff like that. So do keep that in mind. But this is also like, you might be asking like, why should I do this? Like, it's also going to be a lot of stones. Like you can see here from this event right here, this is at least 24 stones without missions. This was what, 6 stages? That's 12 right there. We're up to 36. And then if we go to the first one right here, this was 18. So this is 54 stones right here. And then you also are getting free rainbow characters that you can do from these. So I want you to go through all of these and farm up the characters as well and do these different types of story events. You can see there are a whole bunch of them. There's 3 for Dragon Ball. There's 3 for Z. There are 2 for GT. And then how many of them are for movies, right? Let us see. There are a lot for movies. 1, 2, 3, 6 for the movies. So a lot of stones to be had here and a lot of characters to farm up. And I want you guys to make sure you're doing that, because it's just going to make your account even better. So that is a couple of the things that we should do for farming up characters. Now that we're done farming up as many characters as we can do, and we have a bunch of different options, this is going to take a while. You can't just do it in one day. What I want to do is move over to the Dokkan Events tab, or, this one right here will be like, this is a good one because there's also a lot of free stones here. And I want you to start going through some of these Dokkan events and clearing them for stones. And then you want to, what's the word? You want to get you could start farming up some of these medals for different characters, right? Depending on the time of the year, these could be a little bit different, but we're just trying to clear out as many stones as possible and do all of this crazy stuff, because this is going to help us down the line and make sure we have the initial clear for these Dokkan events done, because it is going to be a lot of stones that do add up over time. And that is one thing I want to make sure you're prioritizing. If you do have any Dokkan fests or summonable characters that awaken from these, you're going to want to farm up the medals from those as well, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a moment. So one thing we should do, I guess one thing that we should preface that with, is we want to go to our box, and I'm sure if you're a beginner at this point, you've probably summoned a little bit, right? And what I want you to do is go to your SSRs and look and see which ones you need to awaken, right? Because we have to take advantage of what the game has given us so far, right? Rather than chasing characters, what we should do is look and see what we have already and look into maxing them out and getting them as far as possible. So just a basic example, you can see we have this base form Broly right here, right? If we just wanted to, let's just say we wanted to work on this base form Broly because it looks like it's a cool character. Coincidentally, this is the SSR of an LR that I already have maxed out. But what we'd want to do is go in here and then just hit auto for this, auto for that, and we want to start training him. And we want to make him SA10, but in this case, I'm not going to. For the sake of the video, I don't want to waste Kai's. There's really no point, because I'm not going to be using this character. But we want to awaken them and get them up to a TUR status. If we hit OK, we hit Awaken right here. We want to train them again. Not hit Awaken, hit OK. And then what we're going to do is hit Awaken and see what we need to farm up. So you can see here in this case, we need 35 of these metals. So what we would do is we'd press OK on that, and then this will give us the source of where we need to go to find the metals. So then we would see this would be the Dokkan event. We press OK. In this case, we'd have to use keys. Now we would play this on Super 2 until we have enough to finish the grind. And I believe it was 35 to awaken that unit. And then we would just do the same process over and over for all of the SSRs that we have until the point where all of these characters are URs or as far as they can go. So look at the amount of copies that you have. A really good number to have, if you are lucky enough, is 3, because you are going to be able to go into the hidden potential pass and do the gold slot like we talked about in the last video. If we go to a unit that has a 79% hidden potential in their build, I know I got to have one of these somewhere, right? If we just kind of go through some of these. Who's 79% around here? You're 69%. So 79%, right? But if we look at this LR Kai Goku, why is it important for 79%? Because of these nodes down here, where you see where I'm tapping on the screen. These right here are super important because these are going to give you what we call hidden potential builds, right? You might always be asking, like, what is the best hidden potential build for this character or for that character? This is what this is, right? And if we have a character at 79%, we are going to have as many options, or we're going to have as many choices as possible, because we have all 3 of the skill orb slots right here, and then we also have all 7 of the nodes open where we can pick and see what we want to do. So in the case of this Kai Goku, I went full additional and full, like just a combination of full additional and dodge. And so you can see here we have 19 additional, 19 dodge, a very respectable build for this character. So that is what we ended up going with. And like I said, if you have any other characters that you can do this with, this is the best opportunity. So it doesn't really matter if you have them, but I'm saying if you do manage to have a character that can do that, I would say prioritize them. But just go through your SSRs, see the Dokkan events or story events that you need to do in order to awaken them. And if it is not available and you don't have any keys, then you just have to wait for the event to come back. And with Dokkan events, it's going to be a lot easier than story events, but you're going to be able to get keys over time. Now, one source of getting keys is going to be over here in the trade points tab. Sometimes in the Baba shop, they're going to be available, and then you can also purchase them with treasures in here. Now, I believe I've already purchased them, but I know for a fact you can get them with these gems right here. Sometimes I believe they refresh with these gems, and you're probably wondering, how do I get these gems? Well, that is going to be the next part of the guide, which is going to be right over here. You want to go over to the quest tab and find a specific quest stage. Let me pull up the right one for you so we're all in the same boat here. And in the case of the incredible gems, it's going to be Area 30, Stage 8. This is going to be the best stage for grinding these. Now, I made a whole video on this about how you want to go about this, and what you're going to focus on is having crit in your characters. And if that is not the case, don't worry about it. Not the end of the world. But what we want to now do is go back into the quest mode and start grinding these for blue-green incredible gems. You should get incredible gems not only for this, but for the LR Vegito Blue that we will be talking about in a separate video. LR Vegito Blue is very important because it's a super good and super hype free-to-play unit that you can get entirely free. No stones, none of summoning, none of the stuff that you probably hate, you know. And we'll be able to get a very good character for the free ski. So boom, there we go. We cleared this one out, and then we got 30 incredible gems right there. And if you just rinse and repeat that, you will have a respectable amount of incredible gems before you know it, and that will be very helpful. So farming incredible gems is very important because it's going to help you. Because it's not only can you buy the Vegito Blue and keys with those incredible gems, we'll actually go look at that shop again, and I'll show you really quickly. There's a lot of stuff that we can get that is extremely useful, right? So if we go over here, you want to go back over to the incredible gems. You can see the medals for Trunks and Broly, support reels, statues, the medals for Vegito Blue. These are these Patara earrings we're going to need to get at some point. And you can see this is a thing of 70, right? So if you wanted to buy as many of these as you could, right now, if I wanted to, how many could I buy? I could buy 530 copies of those. And then, you know, obviously you wouldn't do that, but you could buy awakening medals with these. You could buy training items with these. You could buy free-to-play characters down here. And you can see right here, this is the Vegito Blue that I'm talking about. You can buy as many of those as you need, and that's why you want to farm these up. So make sure you're farming incredible gems after you're done with everything that I've said in the video, and you're going to be well on your merry way to having a better account. Now, I think the last thing I want to talk about in this specific video, and I don't even see this exchange here because I think I've already done it all, but what we're going to be focusing on now is if you want to go to your missions tab, I want you to go and press this button over here with the Supreme Kai. Now, you can see I've already completed all these except for like these little guys right here, but this is going to be something that I want you to work on passively. I'll probably put out a separate guide for this, but I'm just going to at least give you a start on this and let you know that it exists, right? The Supreme Kai's trial, if you press these drop downs, it's going to give you missions that you need to complete per quest stage, right? And when you open up the quest stage, it will at least show you these, and you want to make sure that you are taking care of them, as it is going to be very important for your grind moving forward. This is also going to be another part of the grind for Vegito Blue, but you don't need to clear out literally every single one of these to get Vegito Blue all the way done, right? So just keep that in mind as you are doing this grind. The Supreme Kai trial is going to be important, but it is not everything. Now, I believe that's everything I have for you in this one for the intermediate stuff. What we went over in today's video, if you guys want a quick recap, we'll do like a 20-minute guide for this one. This one doesn't need to be an hour. What I want you to start with, if you haven't already out of the quest, is I want you to go and finish the quest mode and then focus on ranking up for the extra 250 stones that you get. I recommend doing Area 33 Stage 1 to rank up as fast as possible. Then after we're done doing that, I want you to go over to the Growth tab and clear out everything that you can from the Growth tab. After you're done with the Growth tab, I want you to go over to the Stories tab and start farming up all of the free-to-play characters that you can do in here. You have a variety of units in your box that we can work on later. Or not work on later, but just to have for later. That way you are ready to go when the time comes and you need to start using other units and you want to start filling out your other teams. This is where you're going to be able to do that, especially as a beginner. Then after you're done with that, I want you to go to the SSRs in your box and start working on farming up some of your Dokkan Festival or summonable characters in order to start filling those out as well and giving you more options that are quote-unquote premium, right? Then after we're done that, I forgot to mention, we also want to go to the Story Event tab and make sure that we are doing these as well. And then we want to farm up all of these for the stones and free-to-play characters as well. So by the time that you're done with everything in this video, you should have a plethora, an insane amount of free-to-play characters ready to go. And when you need the hidden potential orbs, that might be another thing. But stay tuned for part 3, where we go over all of that more of the advanced stuff for players that have free-to-play stuff done. We're going to be going into more of the advanced techniques in this game that we are going to be doing. And if you want to see me implementing some of these techniques that we talk about and the characters we talk about, catch me over on these streams for YouTube, because we can talk about live. We talk about the game over there. I answer questions. It's a whole lot of fun. We have a good time. And you get to see what endgame Dokkan looks like a little bit more realistically than what we talk about in these videos. So let me know what you guys thought down below. Don't forget to farm up your green incredible gems. I will leave a link to all of the different resources that I use myself. I made videos basically covering how to farm almost everything at this point. Still a little bit to go, but like I said, let me know what you thought of this guide so far. What do you think of this series? If there's anything that I missed in this specific video, we can always cover it part 3. And if you felt that I left something out, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. But thank you guys for watching this specific instance of the Beginner's Guide Part 2. Leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you are new, turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Consider becoming a channel member below, and I'll see you in the next one.